Well, we're now coming back to payment technologies. The way payment technology is changing the future of retail. Our next keynote speaker envisioned and now heads the highly successful Value-Added Services Department and Innovation Lab at Wirecard. Johan Leo Grande, thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, my name is Johan Leo Grande, and I saw my presentation there. So I saw a YouTube video recently, and it was titled "How to Start a Keynote in a Proper Way." And the presenter said, after a while, the only way to start a keynote good is by the words "once upon the time." And I said to myself, I will try it, and I start my presentation with the words "once upon a time." Once upon a time, in the year 1949 in Hamburg, this was the first supermarket opened in Europe. I mean, you can see the people are looking a bit strange, you know, like the hairdos and stuff like this. But in general terms, what you see is what you see when you go in the supermarket today. You see the gates, you see the shopping carts, you see the central cashier system and stuff like this. So for the last 70 to 80 years, there was an evolution, but not a revolution in retail. This said, there's a fun fact also that the big players in the US-American market, like Kohl's, Walmart, Target, and Kmart, were founded in the same year, nearly 60 years ago. So for the last 60 years, not so much happened. But now there's change. In the next 5 to 10 years, retail will change more than in the last 50 years. And the reason for this is, we all guess, the internet. I really like this picture of Jeff Bezos acting like a zombie. Naschmarkt is not anymore, Stephansdom gone, smoke in the street, everybody's buying his stuff online. But the question is this really the truth? Because it's very black and whitish, or? I mean, you buy everything on the internet, high street is gone. If you look a bit closer to this, you will see that is not entirely true. Because the big e-commerce companies investing billions in brick-and-mortar retail. Alibaba is building up the Hema supermarkets, a multi-billion-dollar business. Amazon was buying Whole Foods for $15 billion, and you all have seen the videos of Amazon Go. So the big e-commerce players are investing heavily. This is not the point. A new technology that started like 10 years ago has massive impact, more impact than on the retail than the e-commerce or the internet. And we all know this. This is a video that's taken by a gondolieri in Venice. And it shows four gentlemen of Asian heritage that think like it's better to write something about Venice on WhatsApp or WeChat than actually looking at Venice. And we all know this situation. The mobile is grabbing all our attention. And if you go to a store, if you go to a mall, you will see people like tied to their mobile. And this is the game changer. In principle, you can be in a physical store and buy something. In Munich, it's Amazon Prime now. It's 1 hour delivery time that is be delivered in 1 hour to your home. And especially the younger people change their behavior massively now. This is a chart from the US, and what you see here is the younger the people get, the more they are interested in mobile checkouts. And the older the people get, the more they are interested in in-store. But there is some other thing that is connected to mobile, actually. Look, if my daughter is looking at her mobile phone, everything is centered to her. Instagram, Maps, TikTok, everything that she's using, she's in the center of it. And this is a whole generation that thinks everything is centered around me. And this is a tremendous change in behavior because people now, or especially younger people, think, oh, you have to understand my needs, you have to know my history, you have to earn my trust, you have to give value, and they don't care about the channel. Is it offline, online, mobile, whatever? They think this is the way things should be done. And enough of the theoretic talks. I want to share a few examples all over the world how retail is changing to connected retail. A lot of things we see, is like some videos, some images, a lot of them come from China, because in China there is an awful lot happening in the retail scene. Very interesting stuff, and let's have a look at it. The first thing, if not so many people walk in physical retail stores, the margins are going down. So what are the retailers thinking about? Automation. And the key company here is Walmart. Walmart had developed like 50 robots now. This is one. This is a video without sound, but if you hear the sound, there are people really really afraid because of this thing is running around and watching the shelves. What this thing does is it's checking the prices, the availability of products, stuff like this. Today, Walmart is saying they're using this kind of technology because they want to free their employees for interaction with customers. But let's see how this works. In principle, the most relevant or most expensive part of any retail operation is the cashier system, the cashier line, because you have to have a lot of people there. This is causing a lot of trouble because nobody wants to stand in line anymore. So in China, people playing around with facial recognition. If you talk with WeChat or Alipay, the big companies in this area, they say all the young Chinese people want to pay with their face. In Germany, maybe also in Austria, I'm not so convinced about this, because we see facial recognition as something more critical. That's why we, as Wirecard, we're working at stuff like this. This is a palm terminal. So in principle, it's reading the lines of your palm. It's 4 million data points, actually, and it's been used for identification and payment. Identification means you can open doors, you can identify yourself on a loyalty program, and stuff like this. But I want to show you something where this all comes together. And this is an example, it's a prototype that is being developed in Shanghai, actually. It's called Wheelies, and it shows everything I talked about right now. It shows the usage of mobile, customer centricity, facial recognition, and what we call invisible payment. I have it with sound because I think it's a bit like science fiction.
Hello, Miranda. Welcome back.
Every time I show this in cities like Berlin, people say that it will never work because there are so many cars parked in the second row or something. And I don't think that we will see this kind of technology in a few years. What I think is a general position of this project that will come to life also in Europe. The position is you don't go anymore to the point of sale. The point of sale is coming to you on demand. And the on demand takes me to my next topic. It's like data. You remember, customer centricity is key for modern customers. And Nike is playing around with this in Melrose, in the new flagship store. This store has a different concept than all the other Nikes all around the world. Because the inventory of this store is made up by the usage of the application in a radius of 5 kilometers around this place. So it's only reflecting what people are interested in the near radius around the shop. And the shop itself, the inventory is changing every 30 days, which is for a normal, like an Adidas or a normal shop over here in Europe, it's quite something. I think I don't know any shop who can do stuff like this. When we see examples like this in China, we see this in Asia, shops that really change based on the interests of the people around. And another thing that I want to show you is a concept that was developed in Australia. It's called the tailor-made store. And also this is more like a prototype, but it shows how far you can go by individualization of a shop. Interesting, isn't it? I mean, we will not see a shop like this, but the general concept of a shop changing based on the interest of people, this will work. Now, why I'm talking about this as a payment company, like representing Wirecard as a payment company, because in a lot of areas, in a lot of shops, the payment transaction is the first interactive communication between a merchant and a retailer. And based on this, our AI teams, for instance, they are working on really identifying patterns, seeing correlations, understanding segmentations of customers. And this makes it possible for later on to set up services. Just another massive trend that we see is in delivery. This is an example of Ford. And every time I show it, I think it has, it's a bit spooky, actually. Yeah? They made it up in a very friendly US-American way. Everybody is smiling on this. But if I would see a robot like this with a package in my yard, you see like funky, everybody is happy. I'm not too sure if this will happen in the future, but it shows a direction, you know? Everything is related to you, coming in time. Everything is automated. And from this science fiction to something that is really reality, Google Wings. Google Wings is drone delivery by Google, and it has the same license that like an airline. It's live actually in Australia. They will go to Finland, and then they will conquer the world. So we see drones for medicines and stuff like this. But one of the biggest initiatives in the world of retail is something that's called Hema Supermarket in Shanghai. This is something that Alibaba, one of the top 10 companies in the world, is starting. And it looks like a normal supermarket, but in fact, you can only access this via mobile phone. It's a mixture between a supermarket and a warehouse. You have every delivery option that you can imagine. You can handpick food, have it delivered to your house. They deliver everything in 30 minutes, which is really quite something. So what Jack Ma and his managers want is to take the same approach that they have in e-commerce to the world of traditional retail. And the last topic I want to talk about, because I'm running a bit of time, is curated lifestyle. People want to stay in their application, actually. So Instagram was launching some direct shopping features. Snapchat the same. You see something on Snapchat in the US, take a photo of it, and if it's available on Amazon, you can order it right away. But there's something pretty weird that is an example how far you can take this. This is an example, it's called Shop Shop. It's also a Chinese thing. Shop Shop is about Chinese customers are sitting at home. They want to buy something in the US and Europe, but they can't fly there. So they send over influencers. And these influencers take photos or videos with smartphones and interact with the potential customers in China. And then they order. So it's e-commerce, mobile, in-store, it's everything. And if you take a look at the faces of the sales associates in this shop, you will see that Europeans sometimes have the problems to understand China.
眼睛的中间，小兔子眼睛是红的，还有一个六芒星的。
向 Rosen 本人大老板向我们推荐的老板裤，然后这条裤子的价格是$265。
然后这一个 VR 的蕾丝的边看起来就是很。Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So you see, customers' journeys are changing in the world of connected shopping. It's not about you go in store and then you walk out and buy something. It's about getting detected. It's about dynamic pricing. It's about insurance, after-buy services and stuff like this. It's about currency conversion, tax-free, all these little services. And you see, everything is a bit connected to payment. So we as a payment company will get a more and more relevant position in the world of retail. And we from Wirecard, we leverage this with our platform that is really from the acceptance to data to loyalty, having like all the elements that retailers need. So 0 seconds left, so I'm ready. Thank you very much.